lovely yogis, and welcome to another video. So this is week 6 of Wisdom from the Animals. So next week's half term. We are working this week with the snake or the adder, because the adder is the only venomous snake that we have in the UK as far as I'm aware. So we're going to be doing a little bit of Kundalini this week, because obviously some of you will know that Kundalini Yoga is, which by the way is a very ancient thing. It's only in the last however long it is since Kundalini has been a thing in yoga, a modern thing. I mean, Kundalini has been practiced right from the very beginning. And the idea of this is that in our spine, in the bottom of our spine, there is what they called a coiled snake that lies in the bottom of our spine, and that we can awaken this snake. And this is the Kundalini energy that comes up and rises up. And this is partly what we're doing when we do the alternate nostril breathing, which I know that some of you have done with me. This is to clear the nadis, to allow the space for the Kundalini energy to rise up through the Sushumna nadi, which is the main central one. So we're going to be working with a little bit of Kundalini today. I'm not going to do as much on here as I will do in the lesson. So if you want to do more of this, then do come on Wednesday to one of my 4 lessons. But we'll be working with a breath, which is called the breath of fire, which I think actually the breath of fire itself is a fairly modern thing. We were working for a while, I think last term, we were working with a thing called Kapalabhati breath, which is very similar. And this is where you are blowing out through the nose. You're breathing out through the nose very sharply like this. And that's coming right from down in the diaphragm, and you're not really bothering about the inhale. So the breath of fire is more like the bellows breath, which is, you can imagine, getting me into the right place. If you've got a pair of bellows and you're going, psh, 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 psh. So it's breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. So it's more, you're not thinking so much about the inhale as with the other one, but you are breathing. So it's more like this. So you can see I'm breathing out and breathing in. So we're going to be working with a little bit of that, and we're going to be working with it while we're doing things. So anyway, so get yourselves ready. You don't need any props or anything. Have a mat, nice clothes, get yourself comfortable, and come and join me on the mat. So we're going to start as usual. So you can either sit in cross-legged, or you can do what I'm going to do, which is to sit kneeling. Actually, I'm going to take my slippers off, but kneeling, but with one of these or a cushion or something between. So I'm kneeling up between your hips and your feet, and that gives you a bit of space in here. Obviously some people can't do that because of knee problems, so sitting cross-legged or with the legs out front is fine. Okay, so we're going to begin by just doing a couple of rolls of the shoulders. So we're just going to start mobilizing the spine, so this is a good way to start. And then we're going to make some big circles with the body. So coming from the hips. This is not as easy actually when you're kneeling like this. If you're sitting cross-legged, this is much easier. But this is sort of imagining that you're circling your snake. So your spine is your snake. And you're circling all the way round and then all the way back again. Lovely. And then we're just going to do a couple of just head turns, just to get the neck ready for moving. So just going from side to side a couple of times, and then we're just going to look up and look down. So don't go any further than is comfortable. And then we just do some little circular rolls with the head and going back the other way. It's really good not to go back too far with the head because you can crank the neck back. Okay, so we're going to come down and lie into semi-supine like we nearly always do, and we're just going to come here for a moment, taking a moment to arrive on the mat like we always do, just tuning into your breath for a moment, and then we're going to raise the right leg and squeeze it into the chest. So this is just opening up the back of the body a little bit, dropping that foot, bring the other one down, squeezing in. Lovely. Then we're going to take the feet out long, so pointing through the toes. We're going to rise the arms up, just coming up to where you can. If you need to bend the elbows to bring the arms back, doing that. So here we are, we're in our snake here. We're in our long snake, so imagining this is our head and that's the point of our toes, and we're going to come into banana pose. So just walk the feet out to one side, it doesn't really matter which side, and then see if you can actually just bump the chest over a little bit, or you could even just take the hips the other way and then bring the arms over. So this is banana pose, trying to keep the back on the ground. It's just a very big side bend. Lovely. And then coming back through centre, taking the legs the other way, maybe just lifting the hips and moving them out a little bit, and then taking the shoulders the other way over, breathing into that stretch. Lovely long stretch all the way along this side. So we're just mobilising our snake a little bit. Then we're going to come back to centre, and this is where we're going to imagine that we're turned the other way, and we're going to imagine that we're going to start moving our snake around. So I'm going to just lift my knees and lift my head, and I'm going to keep my arms and my feet together, but I'm going to begin to do a bit of a snake-like movement here, being careful of the back, the lower back when you move the feet around low, just watching out, being careful what you do. Beautiful. Okay, so then we're going to just come back to semi-supine and roll over to one side. Oh no, sorry, I've got one thing. Sorry, so from here, arms out to the side, and we're just going to take one leg over the other and just drop over to the side. This is just a little semi-supine, a little supine twist, which is really, I try to always do one at the beginning of a practice, and then going to the other side. Beautiful. So now we can roll over, coming up onto the all fours, and we're going to just do a little bit of cat and cow. So imagining our snake, which is our spine, and we were working with doing a little bit of organic movement last week with the caterpillar. So we're going to do the same thing, very similar kind of thing, except that caterpillars have got segments and they've got legs, but they move in a possibly a similar kind of way to snakes. I don't think they do really, but anyway, so just a little bit of an organic moving around here, moving your snake around. Lovely. And then we're just going to do a little bit of pretending that we're going to, from here, take one foot out behind, pointing through the toe, pretending that's your tail, our opposite hand coming forward, pretending that's your head, and we're going to do a little bit of moving around from here. So this is quite interesting. Not used to doing this, are we? And then coming back to the other side, taking the other foot out, moving around. So, you know, as always, if any of this feels slightly rushed, do pause the video and take your time with each thing, because obviously I haven't got very much time. Alright, so we're going to come down into the Sphinx, which although this is a sort of cat thing, isn't it, because Sphinxes were cat, it's still a little bit snaky, I think, because you've got your feet together and we're just sort of imagining ourselves here as, you know, we've got arms here, which obviously the snake wouldn't have, but imagining yourself with your lying flat on the ground and then you're lifting your head up and having a bit of a look around, moving your head around. So we're just going to move our elbows over to one side, just taking, I can't go very far because I've got something in the way, but just continuing this movement and then coming back the other way. So just kind of continuing this movement from here. Beautiful. So then we're going to do a little bit of a sequence here, which I've just got to look at my paper to remember what it is. Yeah, so we're going to come back into the toe squat, one of my favourite poses. Just take a moment from there. And then from here we're going to breathe in, bringing the arms up above the head. And then coming down and coming forward, we're bending forwards, taking a really big forward fold here, taking the arms out, and then we're going to move through, so trying to move our body through, coming into the cobra. So exhaling, taking this big bend forward, coming into a sort of reclined toe squat, and then we're going to inhale, arms coming right up above the head and round, so we're doing a back bend here, and then again going forward, sliding the hands along the ground and moving through, coming up into a gentle cobra. So you can pause the video if you want and do that a couple more times. If you've got the video close by, do that. So then we're going to we're just going to do a couple of cobras then, so because we need to do cobra, don't we, because of it being the snake. So we're going to just come into the Sphinx again, okay, and then we're going to just move the hands back to either side of the boobs, or moobs if you're a man, and we're going to just from here, trying to have as little weight in the body as possible, in the hands, and keeping the feet together. We're going to try and just raise up here and coming down. So this is quite hard on the low back, so rising up and coming back down. So you can do this a few times, and then you can, if you want to, begin to bring some weight into the hands to bring yourself up. But don't go any further than is okay for your lower back. Make sure that you're okay with that. So we're just going to, this is just in case you want to come, once you've stopped the video, if you want to come and do a little bit of crow. I've got a bit of a bump there. So having your hands on the ground, tucking the toes, we're going to come forward into the plank. And if you want to, you can play a little bit with lifting knees up. So this is a bit of abs as well, which is always really good. So you can play with that a bit if you want to come through and practice the crow, which we've been doing every week, and you've got that on the first video. So we're just going to come and do this little bit of, I'm just going to do a couple of these, we're not going to do that many, of the Kundalini thing. So we're going to do a whole little sequence of it in the class, but here I think I'm just going to do 2 or 3 of them. So coming into a comfortable seat, and you can either be cross-legged or like I was at the beginning, whatever feels good. Okay, and we're going to, so just practice with that breath of fire, which is breathing in and out through the nose. So, pardon me. So, you can start slowly if you like, doing it slowly, and build up until you've got that. So you might have a little bit of a practice doing that. And I mean, as with me, I just did a little bit of it at the beginning, and even just thinking about doing it then, it can bring things up. That's a really good sign, so don't be worried about that. Maybe have a tissue or something with you if you need to blow your nose or have a cough or whatever, because it really is very cleansing, but in quite a dramatic, it can be quite dramatic. So we're going to do just a couple of little movements like this. So having the hands either on the knees or on the shins. I think this is actually called grasp the shins or something, this movement. So we're going to just hold on to the legs, and I might actually turn to the side so that you can see a bit more of what I'm doing. So from here, sitting up straight, and as we inhale, we're going to bring the chest and the lower back forward. So inhaling forwards, and we're trying to keep the head in the same position. So inhaling forwards, exhaling out, and we're doing that with the breath of fire through the nose. So you can do that for if you heard what happened with my nose. That can happen sometimes if you're not used to it, that your nose is kind of going, oh, and it gets a bit strange. So you can carry on with doing that. And then another one, which I will turn to the side to show you, is where you're going to bring your hands and put them onto your shoulders with your fingers at the front and your thumbs at the back. And you're going to try and you're going to raise your elbows. It can be quite difficult. Some people might not be able to. They might be down here, and that's fine. But if you can raise your elbows, then that's really good. And what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in and move to one side. It doesn't really matter which way you go first. So breathe in on the breath of fire to one side, and then exhale all the way to the other side. So you're going, so from here you're going. So hopefully you were able to catch up with that. Trying to keep the elbows up. Trying to keep the breath the same length. Then when you've done it one way, then you come back to the beginning and then start from the other way. So breathing in the other way first. Etc. So that's two of them. And then we'll just do one more here, which I think is called, this is called the Venus Mudra, I think. So you interlace your fingers, bringing them down in front of you. And again, this is with the breath of fire. So we're breathing in, and remembering, by the way, all the time that we're doing this, we're kind of thinking about raising the energy. So you can always imagine this snake that is right down in the root chakra, that is gradually unwinding and moving itself up the spine as we do this. So breathing in, and you bring the arms up above the head, and exhaling, it's all through the nose. So you go and so on. So you can carry on with that and do as many as you like. Okay, so you can then go on and practice with the crow a little bit if you want to, and then after you've done that, just coming down, maybe taking a little rock on the back or a little bit of a supine twist as well, and then find yourself into your Shavasana and have, they say, at least 4 minutes, but you know, sometimes it's hard for us to find the time, isn't it? So try and give yourself a little bit of a Shavasana at the bottom. So anyway, sorry that it's always a bit rushed. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that it helps you to perhaps, you know, you've got all of these videos to follow over half term if you want to work with them. And Thank you so much for your support. And as I say, every week I say this and then I forget to do it, but I will try and remember to put my bank details on the email this week, so that if anybody wants to, who isn't coming to class, wants to make a donation, they're really welcome to. Bye.